Hello and welcome to another episode of Deep Dive with Catch Happy. I have an awesome guest today for a fantastic product that I used for years myself. Didn't really appreciate it until it broke, because I thought every release is like that. Then once it broke, I ended up using the regular, what do you call those, Keith? The
Oh, pinch pad type, clothespin type.
pinch
Yeah.
pad. And you just heard from Keith Chamberlain himself. We're talking today about Chamberlain Release. This thing is fantastic on so many levels. We're going to break it down a little bit today. Try to not get too technical on you, but what we will do is show you, and I want to learn myself, so we all learn together on how to do better. There's a lot of adjustments to this product that I've never made. Actually, it just worked out of the box. I just tore up the package. Anyway, so back to the story. One of them broke, and I couldn't buy one on Amazon or anywhere else online that I trusted. So I reached out directly to Keith, and then we got to talking, and now they're going to be available at Sweeney Sports and on catchhappy.co as well. Keith Chamberlain, the inventor, welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's awesome, man. I saw your videos. I saw you. It was a while back. It's still square. The video is still
Yeah,
square.
I know we have to update them, but it's been good so far.
They work, but they tickled my curiosity in terms of adjustments. So first of all, let me tell you guys what we're going to talk about. So this is, you see, if you're watching or listening, if you're watching, you can see it on your screen. I'm showing Chamberlain Downrigger Release. Chamberlain is the manufacturer, and Keith Chamberlain is the inventor. And I presume you manufacture yourself, or you have a
Yep, I am a one-man show.
one-man show. And I'm just surprised you were able to keep it so low key all these years. How'd you manage to do that?
Well, we had a pretty small budget to work with, and so we didn't really advertise. It's just been word of mouth on the internet, and so that's the best advertising. And
For
you're
sure.
either going to sink or swim in a short amount of time, depending on what other people say about you, because the internet is pretty powerful. And everything was positive, and I slowly started gaining traction, and especially out your way in the western part of the United States, where people were fishing for a lot of kokanee salmon, which I'd never heard of until
Yeah.
I had people calling me, and they're like, "These things were great for kokanee," and so they schooled me on what a kokanee salmon was, and so the majority of our business is out that way.
Wonderful. I know guides, and by the way, Abernathy, senior and junior, Brandon and Austin, awesome guides. They're the ones who put me on this while back. And I've been running it ever since. So anyway, I got my replacement downrigger. I'm sorry, the release. I'm very happy. But now I brought it to Sweeney Sports. I want Keith you to kind of help me understand how to make this even better. So first of all, the way this hooks up is you hang your ball right here, correct? Your
That's correct.
downrigger
Yep.
weight.
Yep.
Okay. There's a clip to hang your ball. Is there a weight limit? Because I put a 15-pounder on it. I didn't feel that good about it.
Yep. I don't recommend anything over 18 pounds. The wire that I use is it's a 62 thousandths 300 series stainless steel wire, and that clip will hold about 160 pounds before it lets go, pulls free. But I put the wire on there so guys could use it right out of right out of the package. And obviously, if you're running some stuff that's not ordinary, not like normal or whatever, you can cut the wire off and you can install it right on your cable and just use the factory clip that that the downrigger company provides. So you would have to add a stop to the top of the release so it doesn't slide up the cable, but that's like an option that you can how to install it if you're running like a 20 or more weight ball.
Most people don't, so we don't need to go there. For those outliers, talk to Keith directly.
Yeah. Yep.
He'll help you out. But for most of us, we'll hang the ball right here, the downrigger
Yep.
weight, and then this goes to the cable. The top part goes to the
Yes. Yep.
cable, and it becomes this like little unit that hangs in there. So once you this clip right here opens and closes. That's magnetic, right? Can you show yours? Yours have
That's right. Yep.
an
Yeah,
open
I have one right
package.
here. Would you like me to explain
Yes, please.
how it works? Okay, so there is a magnet that is in this area right here, and it is stationary, does not move, and it has a sliding shaft that slides back and forth. And when you adjust this brass knob, it changes the gap between the magnet and the shaft. So you can dial it right in to have it, very sensitive. And that's the horizontal adjustment. The vertical adjustment is done through these fingers. It kind of pinches this Z wire down into a trolling position, and that's done through this side thumb screw adjusting. So you can, and the two adjustments don't affect each other. So you can have the rod side, the vertical side, really tight, and have the horizontal side really light, as long as it holds whatever bait that you're trolling. It'll work for you. And what happens is the line comes down, and you have to put a few twists in the line to make a loop, and it's locked onto this first bend. And so the line comes down, and the lure's out here, and it's doing its thing, and the fish grabs a hold of it and pulls on it, overcomes the magnet, shaft slides out, that hinges out and releases your line. So it's super effective on smaller fish, and not having any false releases, because you can adjust. Usually you get a false release for putting too much rod pressure against the release by accident, and and the line pulls free. But with this, you can tighten it right down and take that aspect right out of trolling.
So let's talk about use cases for that vertical adjustment. First of all, I'm not quite clear. Again, it worked for me out of the box. I get the rod super tight. It's super bent.
Yep.
It looks fine. It never failed me. What's the vertical adjustment for, and how do you kind of dial it in?
Well, the lake that I fish in gets a lot of wind. And so we're in rough water most of the time. And so if you've ever been, obviously trolled with downriggers before, if you ever get in a situation where it's really windy, that puts a lot of pressure against the release just from the rocking of the boat. So if you have this tight, it will not release by too much pressure accidentally going up. So it's going to stay there the whole entire time. And every time you get a hit, even like a strike, if a fish hits the lure and doesn't get hooked, it's gonna knock that off. So it's just makes more efficient of your time is more efficient on the water, because you're not dealing with a false release, trying to get as much slack out of your line between the release and the rod tip.
Yeah, and every other release, it's just constant, just a pain, because you have to clip it this far and this far. Like, it's just, oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate this until I lost the use of one of them. And then all of a sudden you realize what else is out there. So the vertical adjustment in rough waters, or if you want to keep it super tight for whatever reason, it doesn't pop off the release, and you can adjust it tighter and tighter. Obviously, if you tighten it too much, it will be very hard to yank it off.
It would be very hard.
To.
Yep. Some people like it. Some people have it so that they cannot release it from the boat, and other people, they, like me, I want to be able to release it if I need to. So, and I run braided line, which is I think it makes fishing more exact because of the non-stretch value of it. I think you get better hook sets of it, and it actually makes the release even more sensitive. It even will smaller fish than what you think would trigger it because of the no stretch. Nope. The vertical adjustment is very beneficial for anybody who's trolled and has trying to, take the slack out of the line. You can load your rod right at the surface. When you hook it on there, you can keep drag against the the release as you're letting it down and go like foot for foot with the downrigger and the rod at the same time. So you're loading that rod immediately, and you don't have to try to, you know, get slack that may have gotten out while you let it down or whatever. It's already
That,
out.
that's super cool feature. I haven't tried that. I'm going to try that. So basically, you load it before you
Yes. Yep.
you drop it,
Yeah.
and it just adjusts the drag so it just goes with that, and that
Yes.
load remains. Oh my God, I have
Yes.
not done this. This is cool
Yeah.
feature. See,
Yeah.
that's so good. I needed to have you on.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep a good, well, you know, that's the one of the bonuses of fishing with a downrigger. If you can get a good bend on your rod while you're trolling, that energy is going to pull back against the fish. You'll hook that fish faster than if you had the rod in your hand. You can't move that rod any quicker than if it's loaded up and then it's released. You know, that's a good, you know, big aspect of it.
That's fantastic. So I learned something new for sure. Keith, now let's talk about your horizontal adjustment. I mean, that's
Yep.
pretty obvious, but I need to understand, and I'm sure my viewers too, how do you actually adjust? Is there like a rule of thumb for like size of the fish, or how do you dial this in?
No, on my website, there is a chart for how many turns out and corresponding weight that this holds. And so I recently upgraded the magnet to a stronger magnet. So before, the maximum was 4.5 pounds of pressure that you could have. And so the stronger magnet now will hold a little over 5.5 pounds. So when it's all the way up tight, that's 5.5 pounds of pressure that it takes to drive
Release,
that out. Yeah, so you can pull like a pretty big bait, you know, and if you're in a place where all the fish that you're catching are like, you know, 5 to 20 pounds or whatever, you don't even need to touch this out of the package. It's going to release every single time. But if you're a kokanee salmon fisherman, you want to back this off, you know, probably four turns or whatever, and it'll be like a 0.5 pound. And so it's very, very sensitive. A little adjustment makes a big difference. But
so in the package, I just want to be clear, Keith, when it's sealed like this, it's fully tight.
Yep.
Gotcha. And so those of us, if you are watching from, you know, Bay Area, Northern California, whatever, or if you're fishing trout or kokanee, you know, probably back it off 3 twists or 4, right?
Yep. I would say probably like 4 to 5 turns, and that's going to probably be in the, you know, 0.5 pound range, right in there.
That's another thing I didn't do that I should have done. That's okay. That's full of discoveries today. And the beautiful thing about you, Downrigger, is simple. Like, there's not much more we need to go into. Or are there any other tips and tricks you can share with us?
No, I can't think of anything. The only thing I would say is on the package, I have it so that if you you would put like 5 to 7 twists for attaching the line to this Z wire, but that's like for monofilament. And if you're running braid, you want to add a few more twists, like maybe up to 10 twists for the braid, because braid doesn't grab onto itself like mono or fluorocarbon does. And so you need to add a few more twists on there to lock it on. But that's the other trouble with pinch pad releases. They don't grip that braid very well. And so this does. This'll, and being a mechanical release, it's going to be the same setting every single time you put that thing on there. It's the same as what it was before, unless you move something. And it's pretty bulletproof, pretty foolproof. Once you get past the learning curve, it'll be second nature.
It's a fantastic release, no question about it. So I will do another video on showing folks how to use this on the water. So, if there are questions, follow-up questions, we can help. But Keith is very kind with his time. And, what's the website? How do the people reach you if they need to
Yep,
ask a
you
question.
can go. Yep, you can go to my website, which is downriggerrelease.com, and has all my contact information there. And I'm here in the shop just about every day. My name is on this thing, and I want to make sure that people understand how it works and what's it made out of. And if anybody has any questions, I am happy to answer them.
And the retail on this, $24.99. That's what you guys
That's
can
correct. Yep.
expect
Yep.
to find it at Sweeney Sports. Again, catchhappy.co will have them as well. You buy them from Keith's website. Good stuff, man. I really appreciate you. I hope we're gonna sell a lot of these together and put more, trolling guys into a happy state of mind and calm, cool, and collected, focused on other things, but
Yep.
fake releases.
That's right. No, I appreciate you having me on, and it's it's. I never thought that anything that come out of my head anybody would really want to purchase, but this thing, I'm not really an inventor as far as like all these different things that I've been working on at the same time or whatever. This I was just a frustrated fisherman, and I just came up with this concept, and I was like, man, if I could, get this to work, that would be great. And I got the idea from a mouse trap, and of course, a mouse trap has a very strong spring, and it has a very light trip mechanism. So if I thought if I could take that technology and twist it around and make a release out of it, that would be fantastic. And so I did. And I thought the prototype worked good, but the finished product blew it away. I couldn't believe how good it came out. And all my friends who were skeptical, they are not skeptical anymore. So, it's been really fun and very satisfying.
Yeah, you've done really well, Keith, and I admire your mind for bringing product to market. Let's get it bigger. Let's put it on every boat, man. Why wouldn't
Yeah.
people just have
Yeah.
these? I don't get it. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Well, if
Yeah.
I can help it, we'll do it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Cheers, Keith. Keith, great talking to you. And everyone watching, go to catchhappy.co. Check out, get hooked on fishing. If you just getting into fishing, trolling, whatever. We got it all for you. But it's been a pleasure, Keith. We'll see you next time. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for
Likewise.
watching
And
and
I
listening.
appreciate your time.